Hi guys, I'm Gary Osteritas, and today we're going to be discussing who are the best attackers in FIFA 23. Let's get into it. The way that I'm going to do this is we're going to discuss the left wing, left mid, we're going to discuss striker, centre forward, and right wing, right mid. We will do like a top three for each of those positions, and then what I'll do is I'll have like a fourth cheaper honourable mention for each of those as well. For the cheaper honourable mention sort of card, I'll say anyone sort of below 1,000,000 coins can fall into that category because at this point in the game, it's so easy to sort of attain these players. And I feel like the market's going down so fast that I feel like we can consider below a mil sort of a cheaper accessible option, considering how expensive the top tier attackers are in this game. Starting off with our honourable mention cheap striker, that for me is going to be Mr. Team of the Season, Harry Kane. This card, I think, really sort of changed people's approach to attacking in this game. Like, players like myself who always opt for the skillers and the fast, agile players. This Kane card came along and he was so fast and had such a powerful running animation, complete auto shooting, that you saw people that would never use this kind of card using this kind of card. I think he's probably the most sort of casual, friendly attacker in the game because he's got the 5-star weak foot, so he's never going to fail you on either side. He has such an extremely overpowered running animation that makes him very jammy and just really overpowered, but then he's just such an auto shooter as well. This card for me is just such like a casual, friendly, just animal up front. And it's since had the players like the Czech shapeshifter card and stuff, which I think probably are better options for better players, but I don't think you're going to get a better player than Harry Kane for that more casual player base because he has the 5-star weak foot and because that running animation is just second to none. I do like the likes of Czech, but the fact he hasn't got the 5-star weak foot I do think makes it less friendly to a more casual player. So for a cheap honourable mention striker, I think no one is better than Harry Kane. Coming in at number 3 for me is going to be Trophy Titans R9. Now, this would definitely be higher up on some people's lists at number 2, maybe even the number 1 slot. However, there are just a couple of things about this card that makes it fall short just behind a couple of other cards. No doubt R9 is one of the most, and has generally just been the most overpowered striker in the FIFA games. 100%. 5-star, 5-star, incredible animations in game, super jammy, and just such a complete striker. I think where traits are concerned, he's obviously missing the outside of the foot shot trait. And the only thing for me that's a drawback is the stamina. 82 stamina for an endgame card is just not what you want. You want to see that in the 90s. Like, this card isn't the sort of card you can have on for 90 minutes and then into extra time. He does slow down, in those sort of last 20 minutes of the game. And that is the only drawback. When you're paying like 9 million coins for a card, I don't want to have to sub him off. And realistically, that's kind of the only drawback. I do personally prefer the number 2 and number 1 options on this list for their AI, the way they move, and the fact they've got that stamina. But no doubt R9 could be at number 1, and I don't think anybody could argue. But for me, here's my number 3 top striker in this game. Coming in at the number 2 position for best striker in this game for me is none other than Foot Birthday Eusebio. This card, I know a lot of people would hold behind that Trophy Titans R9. I think a lot of pros would say he's not as good as Trophy Titans R9, but for me, this card in-game is just so much stronger than it should be. It has significantly better stamina, as you can see there, than R9. His actual base composure stat as well is higher. I don't really think that shows any more in-game than R9. But the AI on this card, that better agility and balance, his shooting is phenomenal. Like, this card is just so crazy. I was so blown away by this Eusebio card when I tried him. And I did do a Eusebio versus R9 video. That was the Prime R9, granted, a few months ago, and Eusebio did come out on top for me then. I've never been a big advocate for Eusebio in this game. He's not someone that I really think is anything amazing, but this Foot Birthday version with the 5-star skills is just something else. He really, really does perform above and beyond any version of Eusebio we've seen before. And for me, he edges R9 this year. I know a lot of people disagree. Let me know if you do disagree. But for me, this year, Eusevio takes the number 2 spot. Coming in at the number 1 spot for the best striker in FIFA 23 for me is none other than team of the season Mbappe. I'm sorry I had to flex the red. I had to do it. Don't hate me. High low work rates. He is 5'4", so he does sort of have that drawback compared to R9 and Eusebio. But if any of you have used this card, you know this guy doesn't have a weak foot. That is not a thing. This guy shoots as good on either foot. I think his running animation edges Eusebio and R9. He is honestly obscenely quick in game. Obviously his base pace is 99, but it's Mbappe. And this version of Mbappe is the craziest one I've ever used in any FIFA. He is obscenely powerful in game. He literally does feel like a glitch. I know he gets nicknamed the glitch, but that's literally how he feels. If I do like a step over boost with this card, I could go head on at a defender and I somehow go through him. It is silly. And having this card really does give you like a genuine competitive advantage. A lot of people will kind of toot the horn of teams don't matter, but when you've got a card of this level, the reality is it does make a difference. And I think with the amount of that kind of glitchiness and overpoweredness that is so noticeable in game with this card, I think for potentially the first time ever, he actually does edge R9 this year. Just a crazy card. Next up, we're going to be discussing the top 3 right wing and right mids in this year's game. We're obviously going to have the cheaper honourable mention as well, so we'll start there. And that for me is going to be Mo Salah's Team of the Season card. This card has one of the best Trivellas in the game and debatably the best left-footed Trivella in the game. The closest I've seen to him on the left-hand side where Trivellas are concerned is Flashback Havertz. That was another outstanding card. However, with how much more Salah has on those base stats and the long shots, he possibly does edge Havertz as well where that's concerned. Phenomenal dribbling. I mean, look at those stats. He's literally maxed out. Great physicals for a man of his size with the maxed out stamina and his strength. Obviously, when you boost that, you can get it all the way up into the 90s. Great base pace. You can format this card in lots of different ways. Hawk, if you want to play him up front, or a marksman. You can go with like the engine or a catalyst or an architect if you want to be able to work those Trivellas. On the player trait side of things, he's got the finesse shot trait. So if you want to play him on the right, then you've got a great option there with the shooting. If you want to play him on the left in game, you've obviously got the outside of the foot shot trait for those Trivellas. Just phenomenal in game. And honestly, he's one of the cards that I just do not miss that weak foot on. I just do not miss that weak foot on him because he moves so well and has so many good animations in game. You can always get him onto his left. Honestly, a phenomenal card, and this card is now like under 500k. So if you need a right winger and you've got any Prem links, like just don't hesitate, just buy Salah. Coming in at the number 3 spot for the best right winger in this year's game, for me, is a card that has been horrendously overlooked and undervalued, but he had to be in here, and that is Team of the Year Lionel Messi. An absolutely cranked to the rafters card. It's Messi, so you know he's going to play amazing in game. They upgraded his work rates from low to high-low on this version of the card, which makes a huge difference to his attacking AI. The 4-4 is definitely kind of why he's been ignored this year. So many players with 5-star capabilities now that it gets overlooked, but you're not going to find many right wingers better than this card. An abundance of shooting traits with the finesse, the outside of the foot shot, the chip shot, the long shot taker, the technical dribble, the play. He's just got so much about him. Obviously, in game, there are just 99 rated stats here for days. You can format this card again in lots of other ways, but to be honest, the chem style becomes quite irrelevant on a card like this because of how maxed out it is. I think the only thing I look at that kind of needs a boost here is a bit on the pace, and you could boost the physicals more. But realistically, it's the best Messi card we've had this year, and what is a top attackers list without Lionel Messi? So he had to be on here. Just falling short of the number 1 spot, coming in at number 2 is Foot Birthday Jarzinho. This card has been an extremely popular player this year because of his mid card in particular. It had that SBC earlier in the year that a lot of people completed, except me. He was very much ahead of the curve at the time that he came out, and he was very reasonably priced. That SBC was actually cheaper than what his card was at on the market even months and months later. This version obviously has the 5-star weak foot upgrade, making him a 5-star player, which is definitely one of the things that instantly puts him high up on this list. You have got the likes of like Samuel Eto'o and stuff as well, but the thing with the right wing version of Eto'o is that he's left-footed, and a lot of people don't like left-footed 5-star skillers on this game, so this card kind of just edges Eto'o off the list. But yeah, Jarzinho, Really, really good physical card for a man of his size. Flair trait, power header, outside of the foot shot, technical dribbler. Can also play at striker, I believe, as well. This version can't, but some of the others can. But a lot of people do opt to play him at the striker position. You put a hawk on this card, and it's basically maxed out everywhere that you need it to be. On the dribbling stats, you could argue it looks a little shy, maybe on the balance and the reactions, but in-game, that is just not a thing. This card moves great, he's strong, amazing on the ball, great shooting, still has the ability to head the ball, jump, like, he's just got everything. This card has just been an absolute staple in this year's game, and this one is definitely just another level above the rest of his other cards. The number one right winger for me in FIFA 23 is no other than the brand new Shapeshifters Omri. This card, this man, it's been a long time coming for this man to get a card of this level, but my word, is this card juiced to the heavens. 5-star, 5-star, high medium work rates. He's sat in front of a mirror now, left-footed instead of right, but the stats are just crazy. Agility and balance is so much higher than these other cards. Composure, dribbling, ball control, exactly where an Omri card should be, as is the pace at a base stat of 98. They've given him abundance of traits in this version as well, with the finesse shot and the outside of the foot shot trait, as well as flair, power free kick, speed dribbler, playmaker, flare passes, chip shot, like 98 rated overall. Like, this man finally getting a card that lives up to the legacy that he had in real life. And yeah, there is no doubt this is the best right winger card that we've had this year. Absolutely cranked. He's making every pros team in the current E-World Cup. Just hands down an amazing card, and might just be the best Omri card that we ever see. But absolutely no doubt this man takes the number one spot. Moving on into the left wingers. So, starting off as our honourable mention cheaper option, that is going to be none other than Team of the Season, Kvara. The man that started off as a silver card and has ended this game with a 96 Team of the Season card for his insane season for Napoli, helping them reach their Serie A title. He's coming in with the 5-star, 5-star capabilities. Granted, this is the most expensive sort of honourable mention pick on here. He is about 750,000 coins, but that's a total anyone can get to if they're sensible with their coin balance, and obviously that price is only coming lower. In terms of the card, he's got great base shot power, pace and dribbling. Extremely good on the ball in game, this card. If you're a skiller, you're going to have an absolute field day with this man. He feels absolutely awesome. He also does have the outside of the foot shot trait as well. His shot power means he can't really trivela with the most generous animations, but nonetheless, if you're coming in from that right hand side, you're always going to get favourable animation shooting across goal. An absolute steal, to be honest, at 750k for what this card actually offers in game. Obviously, lots of good links as well with the likes of Osimhen's Team of the Season card too. Coming in at the number 3 spot is the Brazilian maestro Team of the Season moments, Neymar. This card, probably a little bit undeserved, but without a doubt one of the best left wingers we've seen in this year's game. 5-star, 5-star capabilities, again like Kvara. However, Neymar is a bit shorter in stature at 5'9". He does have a leaner body type. He's very, very much responsive on the left stick, above and beyond most other cards. His explosive accelerate type does not faze me whatsoever like it does on most cards. He does just feel quick in game. Absolutely perfectly formatted for Trivelas with the 92 long shots, 89 shot power, and of course, the good old outside of the foot shot trait as well. This card has insane base dribbling, and he has great stamina as well to make it through the full 90 minutes. Insane passing, just, yeah, an absolute busted card. It's exactly what you expect from a Neymar card, and where the left wing position is concerned, this man's probably always going to be close, if not always in the top 3. Coming in with the silver medal at number 2. Now, this is a controversial one, but at number 2 is Team of the Year, Ronaldinho. For the majority of the year, he's probably been seen as the number 1 left winger without a doubt. He's basically been extinct ever since he came out because of how low the pack weight was on this card. 5-star, 4-star, high-low work rate. It's probably the best Ronaldinho card we've ever seen. Again, like Neymar, really nicely formatted where Trivelas are concerned because he has good long shots, shot power in the right place, and he does have that outside of the foot shot trait as well. Also has the finesse shot trait, also has the chip shot trait, of course has flair, playmaker, technical dribbler. It's Dino. We expect nothing else. The card's formatted so well that you can kind of shape it however you want. If you want to go engine and not touch the shooting to get the Trivelas, you can. If you want to go hawk to make him really killer through the middle and be deadly on goal, you can. Like, the card's just absolutely busted. Phenomenal animations in game. Defenders just bounce off of him. This man very much arguably could have taken the number 1 spot. But for me, there is one card more recently released that just edges it. But Ronaldinho, without a doubt, is a staple number 2 in this list. Last but not least, coming in at the number 1 spot, left winger for FIFA 23 is, of course, Shapeshifters, Pele. This man has just shifted positions and just taken everybody out where this position's concerned. 5'8", high medium, once again, 5-star, 5-star. Just absolutely just godly stats on this card. Like Dino, you can format him in different ways, but I look at this card and I just think Hawk, and you've basically just got yourself one of the most complete cards we've ever seen. Moves unreal in game, definitely the best Pele card we've ever seen, and you can definitely transition this card to any position in the attack that you want to, and he'll probably outperform anyone, to be quite honest. As far as the traits go, a bit like Dino, also has finesse shot and outside of the foot shot trait, as well as like flair, technical dribbler, solid player, so he's not going to hop off injured anytime soon, and he's also got the playmaker trait as well. This card is just as endgame as it gets, and the great thing about him is you can play him left mid, left wing, or right wing, so plenty of options for your squad builds to fit this man in. Just an absolute complete card, the best Pele card we've ever had, 99 rated. I mean, I don't see anyone knocking this man off the #1 spot. That is a wrap, guys, on the best attackers in FIFA 23. Let me know down below who your favourite card is for the left wing, right wing, and striker positions. I want to see if there's any cards that I've forgotten about. If you did make it this far in the video, though, guys, as always, I really appreciate your time. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and turn your bell on. Take care, guys.